These are my opinions for Hisako. There haven't really been too many of these charts out there in general. So I thought, hey, it might be just a good idea now that the patch is coming out. And this could change in the patch, we never know. But I guess we'll just kind of go through the order of everything that's here. Yeah, that's good, that's good. Alright, so I was first off Riptor. I personally handle this matchup pretty well. But I still think that Riptor does beat Hisako a little bit, but not by much. Like I said, I'm personally comfortable in that matchup, and I would choose Hisako over anyone else. But there are just some things that make it really, really annoying. Talon Rake, Hisako doesn't have a really good way of dealing with it. You can react to the heavy version of Talon Rake with parry, but you really can't parry obviously any of the flame pressure, so it's really, really kind of annoying. But I think overall as a character, Riptor is like a knowledge check kind of character, shadow countering stuff and whatnot. But that's kind of how I personally feel. I'm comfortable with it, but I do think that Hisako does lose to her just a little bit. It's not much of a disadvantage, but it's there. Sabrewulf, now that now that Roman's in here, oh god, my opinions. It can be annoying for both characters. Let me think how I want to do this. And Cyber in here too. Like I said, my opinions are gonna be wrong. I do think maybe it is about even. It's definitely annoying for both characters on yeah, the Wolf Tenno sweep. Yeah, no, it's just so crazy. The overhead is slow enough to technically react to, but obviously being in a match is totally different. The plus buttons up close are such a hassle, and mashing parry is definitely a guess. Off of Wolf's like crouching light kick, all of his plus buttons overpower. You can't, when he's charging overpower, you can't really react with any kind of shadow move because all of Hisako's moves have like a 6-frame startup, and that's enough time for Wolf to release overpower. If I'm correct, because that's what Roman always does. Like if I decide to do shadow influence to try and get him out of it, Wolf can just let it go and she'll get beaten every single time. But it's pretty close either way, but I do think it's about even. So that's just my personal things. It's either advantage or maybe Hisako has a slight advantage, but it just depends on the player, really. Eagle's interesting because how do I want to do this? Because in all his pressure, Hisako can shadow through the bird screeches like most of the characters in this. I do think I want to put it at maybe even or advantage. I'm not sure, depending on how I talk this through. Hisako can dash under a lot of like the arrows, at least like the normal shots. I don't think she can't really duck under like the quarter circle, the fireball motion arrows because they go at an angle, so she can't really dash underneath those. But it's go away, fly. But it's I don't know. His defense is so poor that like Sako's pressure and Oki is just crazy. More than a lot, I don't know if a lot of other characters, but it's crazy. I have just like a few times I fought in Zostali and I have gotten him just absolutely cornered Like once I knock him down one time, like it's crazy how much I've just destroyed him. Now Zastari is definitely one of the better Eagle players out there, and but there are better ones like geez, on Wheels or Thrash Heavy, I don't know. But I haven't had too much of a problem picking Sako in the last couple years, so I think it may be about even. Now that Sonic's in the chat, the best Kilgore and the player in the world, fucking little gnats. I'm gonna put at a slight disadvantage, only slight. Just because, like, and it's the character itself. Individual bullets aren't a problem, but like trying to get through. How do I say this? Blocking bullets is never the issue. And Sako attempting to dash forward, at least with the grounded version, like his down heavy punch, those bullets, that's a problem. And Sako can't really just dash in between them. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's just annoying. Dashing in between, like, the recovery frames doesn't really work that well, because I feel like there's, he recovers quick enough for Sako to get a dash in there, you know? Now, Metal Ball, you can watch out for Metal Ball with parry, of course, and you can watch out for a lot of these characters' matchups with, like, parry, you know? But it's, she doesn't have to wait for to shadow counter. Exactly. Yeah, the mobility is very, very, very annoying, and Hisako has to commit to each one of her movements. Teleport should be used extremely sparingly, because you can get a full max punish headbutt every single time, and that's like one of the best unbreakable damage or like starters in the game, like 24% or something like that. But it isn't that bad, and like every single other character, you can't really shadow through missiles if Kilgore has exhaust. It's just a threat of exhaust. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably a good idea, just because you'll be able to just explode and then, you know, get out of there. And I'm not actually sure if teleport... I assume teleport would be able to get there in time after you recover from the explosion, but... Either way, so that's what I'm putting Kilgore at. It's annoying. I kind of figured it is, but I just wasn't entirely sure. But either way, that's where I'm putting Kilgore at. Just a slight disadvantage. It's not that bad. It's not down here at all. But, and I don't think I'm going to put these in any order. That's going to be too much of a headache. Oh, just a potential ban. Gotcha. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, Dwayne. I'm gonna put this at even. That's where I'm doing it. Either you want to go like 0.5 one direction or the other. I'd say it is about even. When Aganos is away, the stomp is so fucking annoying. It's so hard to deal with. But if I'm swanging away with heavy punch at max distance without getting hit, you know, obviously I can get I have all day to confirm into a Rekka and then get in. Then once I get in though, I can just do close heavy kick all day for the frames, you know, or choose to go for a grab or whatever. But I think probably going from when Aganos has meter, going for meaty heavy kick every single time is the best option, because if he wants to do Shadow Ruin, parry, cancel, or Shadow Spin, Pulverizer will just get beaten out. It's extremely annoying and scary for both characters. So that's why I'm putting him at even. Arbiter? She beats Arbiter. Oh no, me and Slash have fought hundreds of matches together. And that's how I feel. And I know he feels the same way. He just knows how to deal with me as a player more than anybody else I know. But I'm gonna say that the first, like, win and not even is an Arbiter. A lot of the stuff is extremely reactable. Any kind of plus frames that he'll want to go for with the heavy overhead. There's a Prophet's... I don't know the fucking names. Truth's Demise, whatever it is. The heavy overhead for the plus frames, it's so slow that you can definitely react with any kind of thing. All the heavy special moves, minus the command grab, is very, very reactable. As well as just straight up self grenade. If you think a self grenade is gonna happen, Suck will beat it out. I learned, like, within the last, like, year. If you Suck when he's gonna nade, it'll beat it. And even if you think that's not that's a bad idea, you can honestly just do raw Rekka. Raw Shadow Rekka when he's knocked down. Like, if he has meter, or instinct rather, because it's gonna beat it no matter what. And as long as he doesn't, like, if he goes into lunge and then pops shield and then does a self grenade, as long as he doesn't have 2 bars of meter to shadow counter, I'd say it's a pretty safe bet just to do that for the frames and to mitigate any risk of getting hit by a grenade. But that's kind of me personally. I do think that she does beat him though. ARIA? Let me spell advantage, right? Advantage. ARIA definitely loses too. Now, I don't know if it's a major disadvantage or not, but it's pretty hard. But I think being patient in that matchup is the key thing. Actually shadowing, and a lot of this is like player knowledge too, or knowledge checks. Being able to shadow counter shotgun me when there isn't some kind of assist behind it. But there really isn't, to my knowledge, any kind of real way to mitigate any kind of wake up options that she has. Like, even though it's bad, heavy crescendo is still pretty rough. It's hard to media, and obviously if you block it, you know, it's a free punish, and only takes 2 combos to kill because her damage output's still pretty good. Hisako's damage output is pretty good, but it's just really, really annoying, especially when, like, the other bodies have really great movement options, and the real lack of a reliable, like, how do I say this? Like an invincible move to get off me, especially when, like, shotgun, like, all her medium pick buttons are projectile invulnerable, so you can't parry anything. But that's how I feel about that. It isn't as bad as I thought it was, but it's still pretty rough. Cinder, I do think that Hisako does beat Cinder, but it's extremely annoying, like a lot of matchups, I suppose. Heavy punch, jumping heavy punch is a godsend, and there are ways she can punish fired up DP with the command grab, since it's a 3-frame command grab, so she can punish that. If she doesn't have Wrath to get a full combo, you can just straight up anti-air, or when he's, like, in the air during the DP, if he's fired up, you can just do crouching media punch and go into a full Rekka and stuff like that. Or you could just straight up dash underneath him when he's in the air and then go for a full combo that way. Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. The dash is the thing, you know. Going underneath anything isn't that much of an issue, because he's not gonna really try and, like, play neutral with her. At least like a traditional neutral, like, how do I want to say it? A traditional neutral, like, sense. But yeah, no, it's definitely annoying for both characters, but I do think Hisako beats Cinder. Eyedol. I still say, I think it's a slight advantage. I think Hisako does beat Eyedol. The stagger pressure is crazy. But some of the key things are that I need to do this myself, and this is part of the knowledge check. But Crushing Destroyer, the double club, she could just mash parry in between those, and it's gonna work. There's a gap in there. So and since parry is such a crazy fast startup, it's gonna work. You just mash it. Overhead is extremely reactable with parry. It's like 28 frames or 29 frames, so it might be even more. I don't even know what it is. It's pretty slow. It's one of the slowest overheads in the game. But you can that's definitely an issue for him, because you can't just throw it out there. As long as like the Hisako player is half paying attention, that's definitely a parry is definitely a big thing. I mean, other than that, I mean, there aren't really too many glaring issues. Dealing with lightning is a pain. But that's like any character. If she blocks it when Eyedol is an instinct, if he decides to go for like meteor pressure, like on block for the overhead, you can just straight up command grab and go through all the projectiles. I'm grabbing the wrong drink. Go through the meteor, and that's for a full combo without having to waste bar, because the animation will not get out, or the meteor will not cancel the animation at all. Let me think here. Close lightning is possible to punish with Shadow Rekka, so that's not really an issue, especially since her Rekka goes so far. Fulgore. She loses hard to Fulgore. Big hard. Medium laser is the bane of her existence. Get off my lawn. It's the get off my lawn button. I swear medium laser, it has like the same distance as heavy punch. Sako's heavy punch. Overall, as a weakness, which which is a thing for all characters in a way, some characters, she is really weak to projectile Oki, as she doesn't have like a DP to like really get off as a guess, and parry is more or less a reversal, and you can't parry projectiles unlike Kim. But yeah, that laser is an issue. Medium laser specifically. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. She can't punish. Got Blade Dash. It's been so long, I forget the names of the moves. Like, most characters can't. Fulgore cook. Yeah, let you find out? There's nothing to find out, Sir Kron. It sucks ass, bro. I have beaten Nikki before, but like, not in tournament. That's for damn sure. That's just ugh. Yeah, medium laser the game. That's all Fulgore has to do. And then hard knockdown, you know, mix up. Gargos. Gargos doesn't beat her. I think Gargos is even. Either that or slightly in Hisako's favor. She doesn't shit on him. I personally don't think she does. She might. I think she. You know what? Now that I think about it, I think she does beat him. I think it's. But once again, Kron, you're him. You are him, sir. God, my fucking back. Yeah. I think maybe Sako does beat Gargos. Jumping heavy, it's so annoying. The chasing is ridiculous, but Hisako can keep up if he's just flying away. It's just annoying. And jumping heavy punch is definitely an incredible move. If Gargos gets knocked down, Hisako Yeah, just guess writer. Crouching Mia Punch is definitely Sako's one of her best Oki tools. It's so active that it will catch like any kind of backdash attempt that Gargos will do. And I also say that the common crouching medium punch into Reckoning, she can just, if she thinks it's gonna be a Reckoning, you can just mash parry every time. Now obviously if he goes for the command grab, that's different, but you know, it's there. And obviously if his one reversal, the heavy Reckoning, if he has instinct, hey, I endorse command grabs on Wake Up. Get your meaties right. Get your meaties right. That's all I gotta say. If he goes for heavy Reckoning when Hisako does any kind of Oki, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Sonic gets it. The threat of the parry, like any kind of heavy Reckoning, it's not even a question. Like you have like a full second or more than a full second to deal with it. Now, if for some reason you have a minion on you when he does it, obviously you can't do it then. But yeah, I guess the more I'm talking about it, maybe she does beat him just a little bit, but not like a whole lot. RAAM. Okay, so we are not talking about glitches or anything like that, because if RAAM gets you in the corner, if Latalis gets you in the corner as Hisako, that's game. Because of the infinite, the legit infinite. Not a glitch. Not a glitch. It just, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. It's not a glitch. Yeah, I do think it's about even. Heavy punch from both characters is definitely annoying, and RAAM's heavy punches goes really far and it's fast, and there isn't a whole lot of recovery. Maybe a little bit less than, I guess, Hisako. Not much to say. It's a grappler. A grappler versus a fake grappler. Guessed right. You know, it is what it is. But I don't think they're. That's what I mean. There really isn't a specific reason why that RAAM would necessarily win. But yeah, that's kind of why I think it's even. I don't mind fighting any RAAM at all, especially Latalis. Gargos, or not Gargos, Glacius, starts with a G. It's a very annoying even matchup for both characters. As I said, she's weak to projectile Oki, so it is Hillary. Okay, damn that Hillary. Hard knockdown stuff, but once again, that's kind of like almost any character in a way. Sako's Shadow Rekka goes so far that you can definitely react to any hail or shatter attempt that he will do. Yes, you can definitely also react with dash into influence if you're at the right distance for a hail call. If they're trying to summon like 2 hails, you can definitely get in there and command grab. But it's, you know, I fought that match with Skate Fast plenty of times, and we did that money batch I think like a year and a half ago, or I forget how long it was, and he beat me in there. But that, yeah, I think it's 5-5 Glacius, but you know, the threat of cold shoulder is just blech, whatever. Jago, she definitely beats Jago, that's for damn sure. But I don't know if I want to say that it's a major advantage. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna say just for controversy, I will say that she beats Jago hard. She can go under so many of his normals The fireball, if he throws a fireball like at like starting neutral, dash under it, command grab. Now obviously this is not player. Well, I don't think she bodies anyone like 7-3, you know? Too hard, but no, fuck it. She has a lot of tools that just like ignore Jago's strength. His overhead, if you're paying attention to it. Now Night Slash beats me with Jago all the time because he knows me as a player. But the overhead isn't that much of a threat. Even if you don't parry it, she can punish it with Shadow Influence. It's not straight up punish. Going under medium punch and heavy punch, like with her dash. No, Kron, you misunderstand me. Against me as a player, not the character. I don't care. Like I said, this is all up to subjective opinion. But like when you look at it on paper, in my opinion, like I said, on paper, she just really goes any kind of shadow, a fireball. It's slow enough where you can react with Shadow Rekka. Fucking 8-2, bro. Damn. If there's an 8-2 matchup in a fucking fighting game, that's an issue. A modern fighting game. A lot of the stuff that Hisako can do and has just nullifies Jago. 10-0? Now you're the one being spicy. No, fucking 10-0, we're talking Shin Hisako versus RAAM. Con. Major disadvantage. Now, I know Night Slash is gonna fucking pull up that damn Friday Night Set player, whatever that was, where he beat, he was beating fucking Duel with Hisako. Because that's a player thing. Night Slash has reads. But everything that our Conra has, the bugs are such a hard issue when spaced correctly, and Hisako is so committal to her dashes. Like, it's so hard to move. It's so incredibly hard to move. Now, Shadow Rekka is definitely a nice tool, but I don't know. It's just so hard to explain. It's so hard to properly anti-air Con, even though he has a floaty-ass jump. Parry is definitely a good tool, and like... and that's also another thing, me personally, I get flustered at Conra as a character. Dealing with him is such a pain. If you're patient enough, it probably isn't that bad. But the bugs, the random sand spikes, obviously the crazy setups that only Duel can do, by the way. That can do, but like that he has. It's just so hard as a player to deal with, but I still think even on paper that Hisako just straight up loses hard to Con. I say this as Sonic Dolphin 3-0s me against Hisako with Kim. A lot of her buttons just outrange any of Kim Woo's buttons, you know. And once again, a lot of this is like just like knowing the matchup in general, because like good Kim Woo players will take advantage of her katas and stuff like that. So, you know, I'll put her in slight advantage. Maya is interesting because the more I played against good Maya players, it's definitely kind of annoying. It's still projectile Oki, you know, and dealing with it. I'm gonna put that even. That's the thing. Going like raw daggers, as long as they're not like at like an okay range, she can't really go underneath. Like if Maya is within like her medium kick range, and that's the thing, jump dagger is the issue, and especially on Oki because she's relatively weak to it. Frodo's beaten me plenty of times. Just by doing, like, getting the hard knockdown and then getting the jumping daggers, you know, on me. It's just really, really annoying. It's definitely possible to, like, Shadow Rekka through, like, some of her pressure, you know? Stacy, hey girl! Are you enjoying your, are you enjoying MK1? I hope you are. I was watching you for a good bit, even though I didn't say anything the other day. But either way, so, yeah, that's this. I think it's gonna be even. Mira, slight disadvantage. Anyway, yeah, Mira, so she will maybe lose, but only like a little bit. Once again, projectile Oki is definitely a problem for her. But once she gets the hard knockdown, any kind of missed away that Mira will do, Hisako's almost all of her heavy punch options will beat it. Like if Mira like miss up crouching heavy punch and it's going to be a counter hit every single time, Mira's lack of real defensive options minus missed is an issue. So that's kind of how I feel. I think she does beat Omen. You know, I'm going to be spicy, fuck it. I'm going to be spicy. Major advantage. A lot of what like people like Nate and Insight do, the constant overhead resets, the threat of the parry, even if you don't know what side they're gonna be on, is wild. It's really, really good. Now obviously don't hit a button and then go for something on the ground, you know, but that's the thing. And any shadow form away will get destroyed by her crouching heavy punch. And even on when Hisako gets a hard knockdown, she's such a small little creature that she can just she can even influence on his wake up, and Orda will not go through it because his DP is that bad. And even if you want to be safer, like stuff like crouching light kick, if like you're like close enough to her, will just completely whiff. And if he decides to shadow form out, I feel like those buttons have enough recovery where she can just do crouching heavy punch, and it's going to be a counter hit and launch into the air into a recap or whatever. Orchid. Now, as you see me just get bodied 10-1 against Nate. I do think it's even. Let me think here. She doesn't lose to Orchid because the grenade pressure is real, but that's like her as a character, you know. I don't want to list that as like a negative because like, oh, Hisako can't deal with it. Well, that's every single character, you know. Maybe a slight advantage. Her walk speed is great. And the threat of low parry. Now Nate is Nate, all right. Nate is Nate. He's an absolute god. But like random. But then again, matchup lists are like meant to be like the players at the top of their game. But the threat of low parry, from like full screen slide into instinct, which like a lot of Orchids will do or whatever, or Shadow Cat into instinct or whatever, that just gets nullified by parry. So fuck it, I'll say that she beats Orchid a little bit, not by much. I'll keep it at slight advantage. Why not? I think the parry is enough to rethink what Orchid players will do, you know. Rash. I think I'm gonna put it at even. Ignoring Alex. You know, ignoring, you know, the crazy high like broken shit that some people do. She is one of the best characters in the game to deal with Rash. But just overall, Rash as a character is just a lot. You know, heavy kick is a problem. Like no recovery on that freaking thing. Whiff punch is like crazy, advances forward. But parry Wrecking Ball is great. Any kind of aerial tongue into button parry. It makes Rash players think. You know? So that's kind of what I'm thinking. The bike pressure can be really cool. The parry the Wrecking Ball and parry tongue into move is definitely a big thing, which some characters just can't deal with. People with like a good DP will be able to deal with tongue into button. But I think Hisako overall is really, really well equipped to deal with that. See, it's interesting because like I only deal with crazy high level Rashes like Aphex and Alex. I gotta keep that even. Fuck it. Rash is just a dominant character in general, but the threat of parry, so that is just like that lets Rash do free stuff with other characters is definitely an issue. I'm gonna keep that even. Sadira, I think she beats Sadira pretty hard. Now, once she gets Instinct, that's the problem because that goes with Projectile Oki. But the threat of all her double jump shenanigans, with like her cross up. Yeah, no, it's all good, bro. That jumping heavy punch is a fly swatter. It's crazy how good that button is in that matchup. You can shadow. I mean, this is player stuff in general, but shadow counter kunai, heavy kunai rather. But you parry the cross up stuff where you don't know which is where she's gonna be. You can just guess with parry. But once again, if the other character or Sadira wants to not hit a button, you know, that's the risk of parry. Shadow Jago. I think she has a slight advantage over Shadow Jago. If the Hisako player is awake, dive kicks are completely nullified. It's either even or slight advantage, but like if the Hisako player is paying any like half attention, dive kick is just completely nullified. You don't have to guess. As long as you see him disappear and then see like the puff of blue fart gas above you, that just mash parry. You don't have to get. You don't have to guess. You just hit parry. If you are expecting like the forward heavy kick into slide, or rather just button into overhead or anything like that, it is possible to kind of like delay everything, like just always hold down back and then like delay the parry button, the heavy parry, or excuse me, the high parry. Like it'll stop a lot of the overhead low, you know, mix up. More likely than not, they are going to go for the overhead because it is safer. But like I said, if you just block the like a button into slide, that's going to be a punish, influence at the very, very least. Or if they do button into the overhead, you know, that nullifies it. But you know, that's once again, it's the risk of parry. I try not to bring like parry too much into the equation, but for Shadow Jago, the dive kick issue is like you don't have to do anything. You don't have to think. Just parry. Spinal. I'm conflicted on where to put Spinal because like the projectile like Oki situation is a thing, you know. It's interesting because he's such a snowball character in general. I mean that applies to against all characters, you know. His heavy punch is really good in keeping up with her buttons, honestly. Like it has really, really good range. I think people underestimate how good Spinal's heavy punch is. I think it's really, really good. So in terms of like the footsie game, like me and SVM have played that out, and she's beat me clean every time, but that's SVM, you know. I think I'm gonna put it at even. His defense, Spinal's defenses are really bad, and I think Hisako has good ways to deal with him if she gets the knockdown first. Skeleport won't work against command grab. You know, that's a lot of Spinal's panic buttons. And honestly, probably the safer bet is just using a crouching light kick, but once again, that's like an every character kind of thing. Me and SVM have gone back and forth quite a bit. I haven't played base of Spinal too much though. Thunder, the flying grappler. I think she does beat Thunder a little bit. The footsie game is interesting. His heavy punch is really good, but it still doesn't like outclass Hisako's heavy punch. And any kind of like DP into Skyfall attempt, like once again parry just nullifies everything. The slow floaty jump is an issue. Anti-air, it's gonna be a counter hit anti-air every single time, as long as the Hisako player has full wrath. Yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna leave it. She doesn't beat him too bad, but like a lot of like the stuff that Thunder likes to do can be nullified. TJ. I think she does have a slight advantage against TJ. It's hard to explain my personal feelings, and then explain them like technically about why I think a character beats a character. I just feel like they do. Dealing with power line is kind of is once again a thing that's an issue for all characters. Like the having power line to break and whatever. But like a lot of mix-ups that he'll go for, like especially in Instinct, the command grab is always there, but like I feel like a lot of pressure just comes from power line to overhead. So if they just want to mash parry, you know, that's a thing. I think heavy punch in general, yeah, that's just kind of how I feel. It's hard to explain for me personally how I feel like she beats a character. I just feel like she does. Tusk, I think, is even. Fighting Latalis enough, dealing with Skull Splitter is annoying because it recovers so fast, and she can't dash in to get a proper punish, and even trying to space out Skull Splitter, trying to, like, beat it with Shadow Rekka, it's such a weird, like, spacing issue. Even I feel like if I space it perfectly, all the Tusk has to do is just move forward or backward just a little bit, and it's ruined. But yeah, I think it's even. I personally think it's a fun fight. It's not that bad. I don't think she beats. She might beat him, or it's even. Maybe a little bit of an edge against Tusk, just because like if a Tusk player wants to do heavy punch, it's like 30, like 6, whatever. It's some crazy amount of frames. If a Hisako player is looking for it, parry. The same thing with forward medium punch. But a really good Tusk player like Latalis will just never ever use it, you know? Shin Hisako. I will say it's even. God. It's even. I do think Shin Hisako wins a little bit. I could pull up my match against SVM, that combo breaker, but I will still say that's watching us play neutral is interesting. Even though I did 3-0 her, the orb is the orb, and that's still part of projectile Oki. So like in that sense, maybe she has an advantage. Her Shadow Rekka is really fast. And her heavy punch, while not as good as Sako's, it still goes decently far. There is zero reason also to ever block low when she does her Rekkas, and she can parry a lot of her stuff. Her overhead special is really slow, but even if you don't parry it, it's still very like punishable as it is. So there's no reason to crouch block against her Rekkas in general. Yeah, I do think that Shin just beats her just a little bit, you know. Not by much, but maybe just a hair. So this is my personal opinion. Matchup lists and tier lists are meant to be a point of discussion. Everyone has a valid argument with some stuff, even if they don't play the character. And ultimately, it does come down to player skill. Hey, Devil. Maybe. I don't know. And this is my point. I don't know. all these are maybe subject to change. Fine, I'll put it in major advantage. I don't like to. I don't like to really like upplay my characters too hard, you know. But yeah, I'm relatively happy with. No, none taken. No, like you're the best TJ in the world. You know you're a better gamer than me. So like you definitely have a good opinion on this. I mentioned earlier, like it's hard for me personally to explain why I feel like a character. Yeah, no, Devil is insanely good. He's such a good player in general. I think this is a good point of discussion if people want to talk. With that, yeah, that is my tier list. Not my tier list, my matchup list. Does anyone have any like hard like debates